We must distinguish between positional righteousness and practical righteousness. Positional righteousness refers to our position, our standing before God. When God sees you as a believer, He doesn't see your sin anymore. He sees Christ. But practical righteousness refers not to our position, it refers to our practice. It refers to our actual conduct in the world. We are righteous positionally through Christ, as we've said. He paid the penalty for our sin, and through faith in Him, He robes us in His own righteousness, so that we stand righteous before God. That's our position. However, we demonstrate that positional righteousness through practical righteousness. We evidence our justification through our sanctification. We prove that we are righteous positionally by becoming increasingly righteous practically. In other words, if you say, hey, I'm justified, I'm righteous before God, but you're living in sin, you're a liar. You're deceived. In Romans 6:17 through 18, Paul says, "But thanks be to God that though you were slaves of sin, you became obedient from the heart to that form of teaching to which you were committed. And having been freed from sin, you became slaves of righteousness." That is the experience of every true Christian. True believers are no longer slaves to sin. They're slaves to righteousness. Their lives are marked by righteous conduct, obedience to God's moral law. Again, we're not talking about perfection, we're talking about direction. We're talking about real, habitual obedience to the law of God as a pattern of life. Put it very simple, true Christians obey. So in Romans 6:22, Paul adds, "But now, having been freed from sin and enslaved to God, you derive your benefit, resulting in sanctification and the outcome eternal life." The benefit of being freed from sin and enslaved to God, the result of conversion, the fruit of salvation is sanctification, growing in holiness, obedience, righteousness. And so 2 Corinthians 7:1 commands us with these words, "Therefore, having these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all defilement of flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God." Hebrews 12:14 exhorts us, "Pursue the sanctification without which no one will see the Lord." If you are not growing in holiness, you will not see the Lord in His kingdom at all. The evidence that you have been justified and that you will one day be glorified is that you are now being sanctified.